Nice. Okay. Looks like the first test turned out okay. I'm just gonna draw now. I don't know if I'll talk too much this time. But if I think I have something to say, I think I will say it. I got a little bit of a nicer marker here. Seems to be a recurring theme here, this idea of these projecting elements from what we'll provisionally call a skull. The jiggling didn't seem to be as much of an issue as I thought it would. Yeah, this marker is much nicer than the last one. Yeah. I anticipate that this will have a little bit of like smearing. I think smearing might happen at some point. And if it does, I'm just going to roll with it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to roll with it. If you guys have seen Living in Oblivion with Steve Buscemi, you'll know what I'm talking about. Can you just watch a video of a person drawing? Or do you need somebody to be like, do you need them to say stuff and be like, oh, this is my idea for blah, blah, blah? Or is it interesting enough as it is? I don't know. But I'll tell you what, I ain't gonna restrict myself from saying shit. Yeah, this is an adult video, so it's gonna have cursing in it. Yeah, this is for adults. Adults who draw cartoon pictures. Alright. I feel a theme emerging here. There's something about this head that suggests that there's another face on the other side. I feel that. That's an interesting pull. This idea of like, how do I take what is a private act, like drawing, it's very intimate, and make it into something that is entertaining, a performance. There's a kind of a violation at work here. It's kind of a self-violation, like a willful distribution of that which is normally private. That's a weird thing to do. Why would anybody do that? Tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if people fast forward through this, find out where the heck I'm going with it, which is cool. I mean, if you don't do that, that's cool. I ain't gonna stop you. I'm checking the drawing. Checking the drawing in the camera every once in a while. What is happening? What are these little noodly marks? Where do these short marks come from? What do you intend by all of this? Yeah, there's something a little bit different about the way that I'm approaching these drawings versus the kinds of drawings that come out of, well, something that you could write down and say, I would like a seascape with seagulls and people on the beach or whatever. Like you say, this is what I want. And then you do your best to match the image that is conjured up by the words. This is more akin to kind of a doodling. But this is serious doodling. A lot of times when you see doodles, there's like the same image over and over. Like, here is my doodle of a box, if it was in 3 dimensions. We've all seen that. And then you see, like, here is my doodle of an eye. I can draw eyes really well. And that's kind of not what I'm doing here. I think you see that. Like, there's, I mean, if you think that's what I'm doing, whatever. That's you. Who am I even talking to? Like, really? I don't anticipate that there'll be a tremendous amount of people who are watching this. But, you know, whatever. I think this is closer to, like, a form of dance than anything else. Where it's like freestyle dancing or whatever. But the music is the universe itself. The universe itself. I mean, I say it in that voice, but I kind of mean it. At this point, you can talk about like vibrations and like all kinds of goofy stuff like that. Ooh, look, did you hear me censor myself? So I didn't want to say goofy shit. So I don't want to hurt the children's ears with curse words. I don't know. There is something about these lines that interests me right now. Yeah. Dead air, baby. That's the one thing you're not supposed to have on, like, talk radio. And the fact that I want to fill it makes me think this is a form of, like, ASMR-ish talk radio. I mean, in a sense, that's kind of what I'm doing. Like, I'm letting my thoughts unspool before you. What was that all about? Why I gotta do that? At this point, I'm reminded of that marketing genius, or so-called marketing genius. Well, he certainly seems to have marketed himself as such. I think his name is Seth Godin. I think I got the last name incorrect. But he likes to say, who's it for and what's it for, right? And then you kind of like ensure that your product reaches its proper market. Something, 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 or question mark profit, right? That's what we're supposed to do. You know, design a product, or what is it? Minimum viable product. You're supposed to build that, and then the world's supposed to be like, pretty good. And then you're supposed to like build from there. What did I tell you? But inevitably, what ends up happening At least from my perspective, a lot of times people end up creating their own little hells. The very thing they thought would save them ends up destroying them in some way or another. Like, you don't end up doing the thing that you actually wanted to do. You thought you wanted to do X, but you end up doing Y, which is exactly the opposite of X. It's like, what? That's not what I wanted to do. And God help those people who wanted to do Y the whole time. Like, what is going on with those people? No, it takes all kinds. But I prefer X. Should I be explaining this drawing as I go? Would you guys be happy if I did that? Let me know in the comments. Please like and subscribe. Jesus Christ. What is that? What have we become? What are we? Is this how humanity ends? It's our death knell. Please like and subscribe. Jesus fucking Christ. Please pay attention to me. I'll do anything. Please pay attention. Please pay attention to my thoughts. What do you like? What do you like? Please tell me. Tell me what you like and I'll make it for you. What is that? What is that instinct? What have we become? Don't we want to, like, be alive? Like, what the heck's going on here? What you should be doing is doodling. No, I get it. I get it. I'm not exactly saving the world over here. But what I am doing, saving myself. A little bit. Like, whatever it is that's coming out of me, I can at least say it's me, you know? It's not for a product. It's not for a customer. Like, it may be devoid of what we traditionally call cognitive reason. So I guess in that sense, it would be called non-cognitive. I just want it to be real, whatever it is I'm doing. You know what I mean? What does that mean? What does it mean for something to be real? Let's begin. Let's begin our exegesis of the real. And once you say that, you call the real that way, you start to evoke all kinds of, like, postmodernist ideas, like the desert of the real. Anybody who's watched The Matrix has at least made themselves familiar with that. So I'm not alienating anybody with that. What is the desert of the real? Well, it's where we are right now. How's that? What do you mean? What do you mean we're in the desert of the real? Well, the simulacra has usurped the real, and we don't see the real anymore. We only see simulacra and simulacra. We've become so invested in our empty symbols for reality. Reality is now empty. It's been replaced by symbols. Symbols for other things. Symbols for symbols. And what's super interesting, here's the super interesting part. You guys ready? Here's the super interesting part. You and and I both trade the real for the synthetic on a regular basis. And we're okay with that. In fact, we're so okay with that we will rearrange our entire lives to ensure that we get as much of the synthetic stuff as possible. Meanwhile, the real slips from our grasp. What is he talking about? I don't get it. I don't get it. It's funny when I say that. I sound like David Bowie doing his impression of Basquiat. Whoops, that's not what I meant to say at all. Doing his impression of Andy Warhol. I started thinking about that movie Basquiat, and that word slipped in. See, now what's interesting about that is that I was thinking one thing, another thing came out, would suggest that perhaps there's some kind of an underlying thing there that needs to be paid attention to. But this is not always the case. As Freud might say, cigars sometimes a cigar. Something like that. If you haven't seen that movie, you should see it. Also, I effing dare you. Oh, look at me censor myself again. I dare you to watch Downtown 81. Just do it. Just like that. Just watch it. It's available on YouTube, I'm sure. It's a movie with Basquiat in it. Like, him as, like, the starring role. And, he's, just going around town, selling paintings, interacting with people. I'm sure if he was alive, he'd be embarrassed by it, but whatever. It's out there. As I think about Basquiat, I can't help but think about my first reaction to Basquiat when I first saw his work. I wasn't like, oh boy, this guy's really good. Oh my gosh. I was mostly focused on this whole idea of like how he was seen as sort of like this wild child, you know, and that was sort of supposed to be like a racist sort of interpretation of his work, because like if anybody else did something like that, they wouldn't go, oh, here's a wild child, you know, or oh, I think the way that he put it was something like, oh, if anybody else was like working in the Anna Nose Gallery basement, they wouldn't be like, oh, he's trapped up in the basement like a wild animal. They wouldn't say that. They'd say, you know, he's the artist in residence, which seems to make sense. So that interpretation sort of like, it has a direct effect on the way that his work is seen. Sorry, I have to stop here for every once in a while because I'm like, my eyes sort of back out and I see, oh wait, something's coming here, something's happening here. There's a kind of a right facingness here that's directly opposite this left facingness. See, that's when I know I'm on the right track, when I when I have to like invent Heideggerian terms like right facingness and left facingness. I do think like Heidegger was probably on the right track though with the whole like, I mean, only because Husserl was on the right track, right? Oh, it suddenly occurs to me that I'm mentioning philosophers that you might not know about or have read or whatever, and that'll come off as like me going, oh, look at me, look how smart I am. Hey, you should pay attention to me and think about what I have to say because I am smart and I have read these things. And I mean, that's really not what's going on. I hope you see that's not what's going on. Like, I'm just kind of like letting my mind unspool here. Trying to be completely here, completely present and open, come what may. And that is not something I'm accustomed to. In fact, it's taken me a while to post these. Oh, by the way, you might have noticed that this is going to be, it's going to be, but you've already seen it. This is session -1/2. What? -1/2? Well, the last session was session -1. So what does that suggest? What are you saying? Well, if you got a session -1, and the next one is -1/2. Oh, I think I got a little bit of that smearing I talked about earlier. That's interesting. Maybe that's why. It's because I'm trying to avoid the smearing, and that's why there's this, like, drift towards the side. Like, I'm like, oh, I better not touch that area. And since it's not, like the drawing itself is not governed by what things should be like. And I've talked about this in session -1, and if you review that video, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, in the last video I talked about, like, at the very end. This is not related to the last thing I said, by the way. How about that? How do you like the way I'm jumping around? Ooh, look. Hey, look, I went to a meta talk. Oh, wait. Oh, look, there's meta talk about the meta talk. Yeah. I think I got lost. But at the end of the video, I kind of talked about what, like, I did sort of a preliminary to a interpretation of what's present. And that should get you thinking, I think. At least for me, it gets me thinking. All right, I think I have to do this. What happens when you look at it upside down? All right. Yeah, this is kind of a recurring theme with me. Like, if you look at this area here, these strokes here are similar to what appear in comic book work that typically denote fabric stretched over flesh, or a shadow that's cast from, I guess in this case it'd be from here until you have like a major shadow here, and then reflected light coming from this side. So in this case, what you seem to have is like the top of a head, la cabeza, and it's being pushed into this area here. In other words, there's just kind of envelopment. And I think this is actually where I would find, like, I'm gonna move my marker from my hand to do this, the heart of the piece would be there. Interesting that I did that, because that head is actually where the heart would be for this torso. There's a head over here, and there's a sort of an opposite facing head here, but it only has an eye. The nose becomes the neck here for this creature, which seems to have the lower portion of its face enveloped in what appears to be a kind of a curving field. We'll call it a field. There's sort of an inner field here. I don't want to overdo it. And then from this field comes a whole mass of what appear to be technology inspired bits and pieces. I'm having a good time here. I'm having a really good time. In fact, I expect, because I'm having a good time, that the video will cut out in some way, and I won't be able to post this. It's gonna go wrong. But let's not think negative. Too many negative thoughts in this world, man. People just need to lighten up, man. Actually, I did have a conversation with somebody recently where we were talking about, like, how things are, like, oh, the world's going bad. Like, everybody's having that conversation. So many things that are wrong. And it's like, you know, you got to look for that silver lining. That's what the person said. I was like, yeah. And without really thinking about it, the rejoinder, the response to that came from my mouth was, and I said this like really seriously, this is a person I don't know. I was like, you've got to lean into that silver lining. And it's true. It's true. If you don't lean hard into that silver lining, you're not doing yourself a service. Like, the silver lining has to be like the primary thing, you know? Not like, oh, everything's going bad, but you know, there's still XYZ, because you've ended up, you're still making the negative thing the primary thing, and the searching for the silver lining has only served to reinforce the negative part. Like, the cloud becomes stronger. So you have to be like, no, what I have is a silver lining. Like, literally. Like, if you're like, oh, I'm poor, you know, someone's like, oh, things are not going well for me, I'm really poor. Okay. And then someone literally gives them, you know, gold doubloons, you know, and they're like, yeah, I'm really poor and things are not going really well, but, you know, at least I have these gold doubloons. Wait, what? What? You're not poor anymore. You have gold doubloons. There are things you can do with those gold doubloons that will make you not poor, but you're still saying you're poor. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, this is what you came for without knowing it. I'm giving you the stuff. Here's here's your payoff for sitting through and watching this video for this long. You ready? This is it. Silver linings are silver linings. Use them. Pay attention to them. The silver lining is where it's at. Like, what is your life? What is it? Think about it. What is it? What's in your head? Do I need to go further? Do I need to go further? Do you get this, right? That's not that hard. It's in your head. If it's in your head, then your life is what you think about. If what you're thinking about all the time is negative stuff, surprise, surprise. Like, seriously, surprise, surprise. Or as I like to think of it, surprise Pikachu. My life is negative. I mean, yeah, there are things that are like fucking, they're horrible things. You've got, oh no, I was hit by a bus. Like, that's a really easy one. I was hit by a bus. Everything's bad. You can do that. And then your life is, I'm a dude who was hit by a bus. And that's your life from now on. What? That is not a response. Come on, guys. Come on. You're more than that. There's more stuff going on. Your brain is capable of more than that. How do I know that? Well, you were able to make it to this far in the video. After I mentioned Heidegger, he didn't turn it off. Oh, guess what I'm gonna do? This is what we call in the biz a callback. What? Callback so early? Ready? Remember how last time I had like triangles in the bottom right? I'm gonna hook this one up with a triangle. Oh yeah. Alright, so in my head, I did see a triangle, but I was like, let's make it a fleshy triangle. Let's go Cronenberg on this stuff. Oh, see, I'm censoring myself again. Maybe I should. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe this should be good for kids. We want the kids to be in on this too, don't we? We want the kids to have a good reality, right? Right? Oh, look at this. You see how this curve over here is starting to like match that curve? Yeah, let's continue that. Let's see what happens. And that curve, oh, Oh, what if that starts to get involved with the picture plane? What happens there? Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna be the annoying guy on YouTube, whatever. Whatever. There's a lot of people in this world. I mean, people watch Fred, right? Like, people actually literally tuned into him. They were like, hey, let's watch this Fred guy. And then he got popular, and he was like, he had his own show. What? Yeah, he had his own show. What's going on with Fred these days? Jeez. Remember Smosh? Oh, man. 2012 feels like 1,000 years ago. I do like this shape, right? Like this, where the quote-unquote torso, let's call it a torso, the torso-like object sort of like curves inward here, and then pops out over here, and then curls in here. Oh, come on. Now tell me you could get that by like designing something. You can't like, look at me, I'm gonna show my hands because it's supposed to talk with your hands. Yeah, if you design something, yeah, you can probably like wedge some of the things that you know into a piece. But tell me it's not better when the cool things you know or know how to do emerge as a consequence, as a natural consequence of you having learned it. I was just having a conversation with somebody not too long ago where, wow, that was just like one word. Where I was talking about like when you make a design or an idea and you pursue that idea, sometimes it's not great when you get it. I guess that's what's on my mind, because I talked about this in the last video, and this is like less than 30 minutes after. But when you get it, it's different, but it's different because it's what you wanted. Now think about that. Think about that for a minute. I really mean that. Like, you can get exactly what you wanted and be unhappy with it because it is what you wanted. Because without knowing it, what you actually wanted was something greater. And what is that something greater? Well, you wanted the thing to surprise you. You wanted to have more than what you could imagine. Because if you just had what you imagined, well, then you have it in the imagination. You don't need to actually interact in the world to get it, right? So, creation, oh, you can't see what I'm drawing. Creation demands interaction with the world so that more can erupt into existence. What do I mean by that? Well, man, you guys are some hardcore people who just hung in there and listened to me talk for this long. Well, what do I mean by that? I mean, we want to bite into an apple. By the way, we are apples. We want to bite into apples as apples and have the apples manifest multiple apples. What? Or worse, or quote unquote worse, I should say, or better. For better or worse? We want the apple, when we bite into it, to become all fruits, including fruits that we've never seen before. I think that's what we actually want. Like human consciousness seems to demand that, and it's an unreasonable demand. Let's face it. It's unreasonable. But that's why we're so unhappy, because as apples, just what are we? We're the fruit of the frickin' tree, yo. Like, we're the thing that came out of the universe, right? Like let's go ahead and accept the Big Bang provisionally. I know there's some people who don't believe it, but let's say there's a Big Bang, right? And then, here comes consciousness, right? What does consciousness have the ability to do? Oh, to look at itself. Okay. And then what? Oh, it's going to want stuff. Okay. So it tries to get stuff. Okay. What's the stuff that it wants? Well, it wants other stuff that's from the universe. So it's like there's a tree, and there's a branch from the tree, and then from that branch, there's a part of the branch that can look at itself. That's what we'll call consciousness. And then from that branch, it's looking at other things from the tree and going, oh, look, oh, there's more stuff. I want that. And then it's like, oh, this is not good enough. Why? Why is it not good enough? Why do you want more? Because you're seeing yourself. You're your own apple. Oh my gosh, this talk just got really weird. You are your own apple. Yeah. You are a bicycle for the mind, riding itself. What? You see the pun there? I'm sure you loved it. Yeah. But yeah. We want more. So I mean, I can't just serve up problems here. I mean, I need to get solutions. What kind of solution can you offer for something like that? Wanting more and more and not being satisfied. How do I fix that? Well, I mean, come on. You're conscious, right? And you have sensitivity to the world around you, right? And everything around you is infinitely receding, right? I mean, we're accepting the whole idea of expansion of the universe, and let's provisionally accept that at least in the mind, if we ignore things like the Planck constant, that things are infinitely divisible. Hint, hint to the title of this video. Things are infinitely divisible. Well, then you've got plenty. You got more than plenty. What are you saying, man? You're saying the whole universe is at my fingertips at all times, and I don't need to be like looking for other stuff and trying to fill the gaping hole in my heart? I mean, kinda. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying that we have a little bit too much of a focus on physical reality, but physical reality as replaced by symbols. See the previous video for elucidation of the concept of simulacra and simulacrum in terms of pop psychology that wouldn't pass muster in even the break room to the philosophy office at your local community college. But yeah, that's kind of the issue. That's where we at, yo. And that's why everything is not going well. And that's why we need to fix it all. And we just need... No. Just calm down. Calm down. You got this. You don't have to go anywhere to find sensitivity to the world inside of you or outside of you. I'm trying to back away from that whole, like, there's a way that, like, the spiritual people talk, where they get really serious. Oh my God. So fake. I'm trying to make sure that I stay myself here. I don't want to become one of these people that, you hear it. You hear it all the time. I mean, you guys, you've seen podcasts. You've seen them. You've heard podcasts. You know what it's like. I mean, I guess you've been to some kind of church or something where they slow it down, they play the music, whatever. It's so manipulative, you know? I don't want to do that, but I do want to. If I'm gonna reach the world, if anybody's gonna see this, let's pretend that people are gonna see this. Uh, let's make sure that the thing that I'm saying actually helps people, something like that. And if it's gonna help people, it better not sell anything. Like, stop selling something. Like, give people what they already have. What do you mean, give people what they already have? If they already have it, how can you give it to them? Yeah, you can't give people what they already have, but you can let them pay attention to it. I can feel the dogs of war. I can feel them. They're breathing down my neck. I can feel the argument coming. Oh, well. But that's, that's part of how it all goes. You express yourself, you have an idea, you let your mind unspool in some weird content machine, and XYZ happens, and then you have to figure out a way to react to it that doesn't destroy you or whatever. I don't know. Hey, maybe someone will use it to try to go to sleep. Oh, in which case, I'm sorry, because I made some really high-pitched squealing noises, and that probably woke you up, so whatever, dude. You do you. I don't know. Hey, you know what? I just thought of a different way. This is actually, there's another way that this is interesting, at least for me, is that if you're going to do this, you're going to, draw and, talk like this, you might end up finding out that you've emulated some people that you've met before. I can actually hear it in my voice. There are people that I've known in high school who talked in a way that's similar to this. And it's not, it's me, to an extent, but it's not really me. I think I'm going to do some stuff with brushes next, because this marker, I really like that stroke there. I think I can do something really cool with that. Oh, yeah, I use brushes, yo. I'm one of those. I don't say yo. I'll let you know right now. I don't really use that. I think I'm just, I don't know. There's just kind of self-consciousness. It's exciting. But, yeah. There's people that I know that are coming out through me. And that's kind of the way it goes, right? How many of us are actually fully ourselves, especially when self-consciousness enters the picture? You're aware, oh, this is the part of me that's doing this. But you're I'm gonna ignore that for a moment because it makes me uncomfortable to think that I'm not really being me. But wait, what are you if not a composite? And now it's you're thinking about yourself as a composite. Hey, you, you're overthinking now. Don't overthink. Okay, well then, what do you suggest? Well, you need to think less. What? Yeah. Think less. Think as little as possible. That's the ideal way to be. No. That's not what they're saying. I know. That's not what they're saying. There is a point where thinking can actually obstruct your progress, right? You have a goal. Let's say that there is a goal. And moving towards that goal means making certain kinds of choices, right? I'm not saying anything crazy here. That's very obvious. Of course. And if one of your choices is to sit around and think for 400,000 hours and never do anything, well then, good luck getting closer to the goal. So if you define overthinking that way, cool. If you define overthinking in some other way, that means, hey, I kind of don't understand what you're saying right now, and it's making me feel uncomfortable, so I'd rather that you just be quiet. If that's what's going on, then holy crap. That's a little upsetting. But, you know, it takes all kinds of people to make a world. Really. I mean that. Like, we need everybody. And it is to our benefit to find a way to love them. What? That's a bit strong. Love? Yeah, that's the thing. Like to find a way to love the people that you feel like you're not even close to being. Like, how do you do that? It's worse than that, though. What? It's worse? It's worse than trying to love the people that are completely opposite from you? Yeah, it's worse. Because now you gotta figure out, how do I love the universe? What? Oh, man. You gave it up. You gave up the goods too early. That's where everything's leading, man. You can't just tell people to love the universe like that. Now they won't want to watch your YouTube channel anymore. That's cool. Whatever. But really, seriously, try it. Try loving the universe. Like, when the universe is kicking your butt, love it. What? That sounds like abuse, man. Well, yeah, there's an abusive kind of a aspect to it, and it sounds kind of scary. It's like, oh, shoot, I gotta love it when my teeth are getting kicked in. I mean, you're part of the universe, so you should probably love that too, you know? But yeah, if you find yourself being kicked in the teeth, love yourself as part of the universe enough to get yourself out of that situation so that you can love the universe in a greater way. Oh, what? You done did it. You done fixed it. You done fixed the world. Running for president. I'm running for president, and my motto is love the universe. Jesus Christ. All right, there's actually something kind of cool happening here. Like this, you know, I don't need to tell you that because you already saw that. But I'm preserving that because you can't say no to that. This is kind of cool. Kind of want to keep further going with that one. I think we're there. I don't think there's much more to do with this one. I find it rather stimulating. Yeah, I'm gonna do bad accents on this channel. Oh yeah. That's where we are, folks. It's just lines on paper, folks. Wait, what was it that Arkram said? It's just words and pictures? I think he says, I think he might have said it's just lines on paper, but he might have said it's words and pictures. But yeah, that's what comics are anyway. But lines on paper. I mean, these are, tell me this is not linear, right? It's linear. There are contours. I think that means that I gotta try something, or I gotta do like washes or something like that. I'm definitely gonna use brushes at some point. But I do like a linear approach. I like the way that lines are like, hey everybody, hey, I'm a shape over here. I'm a shape delineating a form. Oh my gosh. I like that. And then the other side is like, no, I'm the shape. Y'all are crazy over there. This is the shape right here. What voice is that? What is that? Oh yeah, I didn't finish that other thought. Yeah, like the people that I'm representing, like I've taken bits and pieces of their personalities, and if and or when this is viewed by somebody else, they are likely to hear bits and pieces of the personalities of those with whom they've come into contact. Huh? Yeah, man. You won't hear me. You're gonna hear the people that you already are familiar with, because you don't know who I am. I mean, who knows who they are, right? So there's a kind of I'm interacting with your childhood. I don't know, because you probably don't have a lot of people that you would sit around and draw with for a long period of time. But this is what it's like, you know. If you sit and draw and talk to someone for a long time, I mean, typically there's what's called back and forth, and it isn't just like one person who's like, oh my gosh, this one time at band camp, I never make the band camp joke. This YouTube channel is gonna ruin me. I think I gotta stop. No, I won't stop. But you know, I might try one where I go silent. That might be fun, right? Yeah. That's my mantra. Yeah, that might be fun. All right. I'm feeling like I probably should get ready to go to work. So I gotta get some work done. There's never a shortage of things to do, but what I don't want to do is to lose myself in the process of obtaining little slips of green paper. Yeah, so that's kind of the aim here. I am an artist. I do care about making art. I do care about making a statement, moving forward, you know, saying something that means something. But I really care about being authentic. I don't want to fake it. All right, this has gone on too long. Yeah. All right, that's what we call the finished piece. All right. Oh, get ready for more of these. This has been so much fun.